So then we just go ahead and fill our crock. And then as we get each layer, and then Chris is going to take this stomper and just stomp that down into layers. And I like to have a strong guy doing that if I can, just because it stomps it down tighter, and I want to get that cabbage down into that crock just as tight as I can. If you don't know where to get a crock like this, they're available on Amazon.com. They have smaller ones. You don't need to make a giant batch like I do. I have a larger family, and so I make a lot of sauerkraut, and I have kids that used to have acne that don't have acne anymore because they have improved their digestion by taking sauerkraut, because teenagers, they tend to eat a lot of junk food. As hard as you try to keep them on a clean diet, then they tend to get a lot of junk food. And so it really helps to have them have that little bit of sauerkraut every day. Even just a couple of tablespoons a day is going to be enough. But if you will take a little more, then it's helpful. I also give this to small children, but if I give it to small children, I don't put the peppers in because they don't like it spicy. You just want to keep stomping that, and stomp it especially around the edges and get the layer kind of as flat as you can. You want to get as much air out of that as you can. You just keep on stomping it and stomping it, and as it bruises, then it moves down. And just get it around the edges and everything so it's really quite tight. Salt to this layer, not too much. I don't want to make it real salty. Okay, now as I'm doing this, then I'm saving the big leaves off the cabbage because when I get done, I'm going to want to put that on the top before I put these weights on to hold everything down and in place so none of that cabbage comes and floats up, because we want it all to ferment really nice like it should. If you need a good sharp knife, because cutting cabbage takes a good sharp knife, I get these at Standard Restaurant Supply, and I believe you can go online and get those there. There's one local here in Salt Lake, but they have an online store. Just look up, I believe it's standardrestaurantsupply.com. But they have really good chef's knives that you can cut your cabbage with. Makes it a lot easier, and it makes it go a lot faster. So. Okay, now we're going to mash that in as best we can. That's clear to the top. Finish mashing that in. I made quite a mess here. got that packed down really good. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of room to stick those stones in. Okay. And I'm going to put some big cabbage leaves over the top of this to kind of just hold everything down. Okay. Now we have our weight stones that we're going to put in there and just press everything down with. And that, can you work that under there and get that in there? And it kind of really presses everything down and holds everything down so that nothing comes floating back to the surface. Okay, and this is what's going to go in there. I'm just going to work that down in there. This is why I use the muscle. Martha could probably do this, she's tough, but it's just easier if you have some extra muscle helping. And I do, so I do. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, now I want to make sure this water well is clear, because what happens is as this ferments, then it will bubble a little bit, and some of the water will come out of this, and this pot is designed specifically to ferment things, and so that's what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and get the water and pour the water in so it's just covering those stones, and then I'm going to put the lid on and hold on. The water that I use is spring water, and you don't ever want to use tap water doing this. I just use nice, clean spring water. And as this ferments, you're going to want to add extra water into the well, because the water in the well keeps it sealed. So this is a water seal. And this is bubbling. We want to just let that water go all the way down. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then just fill this well halfway full. That's good. Okay, and then we're just going to put our crock lid on there, and there we go. And then it's sealed. And that it'll do that. It'll bubble like that for the next 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the temperature. This is kind of cool weather now, so I'm probably going to let this just ferment for about 4 weeks. And in 4 weeks, well, we'll see how it comes out. Okay, I'm going to lift this over here. Okay, and there it stands for the next 4 weeks. I don't know if you can still see me, but for the next 4 weeks it's going to be here. I'm going to be checking this water well daily and just making sure that has enough water in it. Sometimes it will overflow because of the fermentation process. Most of the time I'll just need to add a couple of ounces of water to that to make sure to maintain that seal so that this ferments without getting any bacteria or anything in it. So we'll see you in 4 weeks.